We haven't done much new gear for the motorcycle in a fair bit of time. And with it being fall, almost winter, kind of winter-y, sort of, you wouldn't expect me to be doing any motorcycle gear right now either. But that's not the case. Nope, not the case. We're doing something for the bike. I'm gonna go outside today and put this on because I think it's kind of cool. And I do actually think it's something that you and I should have on our bikes, especially motorcycles, and maybe even bicycles, if you so choose, but motorcycles for sure. And that's coming right up. Okay, my friends, so this was sent to us by a company called FOBO Bike 2 is what it is. And here's their website for one. FOBO, for our better world. The O is kind of in the middle of the world part, I guess. Sure. Now, what is this? Well, it's a TPMS system, so a tire pressure monitoring system. And it is one of those things I think every one of us that has a motorcycle should be running, because I, for instance, have definitely had an issue riding on the highway after I got new tires put on, that the shop actually overinflated my tires, and because of that I was all over the place on the highway. Any tiny little bump would just put my bike into a real shimmy, and I actually thought it was my suspension, but no, it was my tire pressure was almost at 50 psi, which is way too high for my bike. Having something like this on your bike can be really important because you get to see exactly what that tire pressure is doing. Now, one of the cool things about this is it's kind of a smart system, so it's actually connects into your smartphone. And I believe for those of us that have an iPhone with an Apple Watch, that it also has an Apple Watch app so that you and I can monitor it from here. So if there's any kind of warnings that come up while we're riding or before we actually start riding, we can see or make adjustments to our tire pressure. So that's kind of cool. So number one, just to see a couple things, FOBO Bike 2, smart tire pressure system, cool. Android 5 or iOS 9.3 or higher. Choose your FOBO color, so you get it in this black and or this kind of gray / silver. There are a couple features here that you want. Award-winning, always cool. Tiny sensor, so this is gonna go just on your valve, which is awesome. And it's kind of neat because it's true, you know, you look at your tires, and unless your tires are severely deflated, a lot of times it's hard to tell if they're just down a little bit. And there's a little shot of two tires, one being, you know, underinflated and one being proper. And they really, when you're just staring at it, they look the same because you're staring at it without, for one, the weight of you on it as well, which is gonna help your tires sink. Even a change of like 5 or 6 PSI, plus or minus, can make a huge difference when riding, but visually almost impossible to see. So 24/7 monitoring of your bike. Oh yeah, see, here you go. Looks like an Apple Watch, so I'm guessing we should be good. Slow and fast leak detection, awesome. Multiple vehicle monitoring, so if you have, it does say, yeah, here, it does say you can actually monitor up to 19 wheels. So if you had a series of these caps, let's say you had multiple bikes, or I wanted to get a set of these for, let's say, my wife's bike, we could have just one app that I could monitor both, which is cool. Even something like group ride monitoring, which is awesome. So if you have a group of you with these, I'm guessing, unless the app just allows you to add, I don't know. But feature lets riders from group ride with planned destination, date and time. During the group ride, riders can know the tire pressure status and relative locations of each other in the map. So it must be using a lot of the phone's GPS information, plus of course the tire pressure, so of course they would need these, and you guys can see what's going on. So when you look in the back and you realize, hey, buddy's tire pressure is nothing and he's not there, well, it's probably something happened and you should go get him. Even if nothing happened, you should probably go get him anyway, but it's good to know. Sharing, have the ability to share. So if, for instance, I want to put this on my bike and share it with my wife's phone, I could, so I can actually send them a key / request so that they can have permission to be able to share the status of my tire pressure. Remote monitoring, super cool. Seamless swap from one smart device to another. So this is cool. So if you are moving from phone to phone, for instance, I have 2 different smartphones. I have an iPhone XR and an iPhone 7 Plus, and sometimes I want to just take the 7 out because it's older, and if I'm doing something a little more stupid on my bike, especially because I use an adventure bike, I may put the 7 on there, so it's nice to know that I can have them on 2. And 2 levels of theft deterrent. This is also a real big perk. I love this because, number 1, what does it say here is that first level is done with proprietary nuts and wrench. In the event that the sensor is stolen, it cannot be installed again. Cool. Second, which is also really cool, is that when it gets paired to your smartphone, it has to unpair from that smartphone before it can be paired again. So I, for instance, would have to unpair that with mine before someone who stole them from my bike could even have them working. So could they have them? Sure. Would they function? No. So it's a real big deterrent if you are aware of that. T-valve option accessory if you have that. And that's kind of it. There's a little picture. So let's take a look at, this is the box. It's tiny, right? Like it's not big. It's a tiny little box, which is cool. All the features on the back. There's a little QR code. Now the QR code looks like it's going to take you to this website, which is awesome. But let's open it up. Let's open her up because that's why we're here. I think that's why we're here. I probably just showed up on your feed somewhere, and you're like, yeah, that's all right. I'll take a gander. I like motorcycle stuff. I think you should. I appreciate you watching. Yeah, I do. Okay, so here's the box. It's a little wee box. FOBO. All right, so this is the manual. Here you go. Now, just so you guys know as well, the manual is here, but there is a bunch of little downloadable manuals, and I think a little video of how to do this as well on their site. I'm gonna go through this process with you guys right away, so you can see it here. But if there's something extra, hop on over to their site because it's good. It's a manufacturer. They should know what they're doing. Manual, good. Ooh, look at that. Nice presentation. I like that. Doesn't need to be good on something like this, but they did it. That's excellent. Okay, so this has, there's the sensors, and then in here, what do you have in here? I'm not really sure, but this, it looks like a keychain, something or other. I'm not sure what that's for. This is the little screws, must be the security screws that they talk about. This is some of the protective, so you would put it in here so that you can't unscrew the caps because this is going to protect it. And last but not least, you get some metal valves. They were talking about, I read on one of their sites, I read this on one of their pages, that if you have like a rubber valve, they recommend using metal valves. So they come with that as well. And of course, they send you a set of batteries. So here's the batteries, not installed in here, so you have to do that. Now, they say you should get about a year. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get this stuff all ready. Here's what's in the box. And we're gonna go out to the bike and we're gonna install it, see how this goes. All right, let's go to the bike. Okay, I'm back just before we head out to the bike. Just to clarify, because I spent some time on their website and just wanted you guys to be aware. So, keychain. This is a little keychain, which is what I figured it was. What's it for? For this. What is this? These are actually little wrenches. So this is a little wrench to kind of go along with the locking nuts. So these are designed to go along with these lock nuts so that you can, for one, tighten them up against the sensor, and if something were to happen, this would be attached to your keychain, which you would have with you on your bike, so that if something happens to your bike, you can actually inflate your tires because you need to get the cap off. I don't know if I will do that. I think this is 2 of them, so one may go on the keychain, possibly. The other one I'm gonna throw in the trunk of my bike, so it's gonna be with me all the time anyway. All right, let's go outside. All right, my friends, well, we are outside and it's cold out. It is currently -9 degrees Celsius. Yep, so no riding right now, but we're gonna put these on. So I didn't bring the batteries out, so the batteries are an extra set in case you want them, but I did bring the lock nuts and I did bring the wrenches. Let's install these. So I got my valve over here, bike's here, good and ready, and we're gonna basically put these valves on. Well, we're gonna do kind of one at a time. So what happens is in the app, let's bring the app out. If we bring the app out, it does say and give you instructions as to what we need to do. So that should be right at the back. Here it is, FOBO. Okay, FOBO would like to use your Bluetooth. Sure. Yeah, sure. Set location services. I'm going to sign in with my Facebook. You guys don't get to see this part. You're logged into. Yeah, that's good. And simply there's a plus button at the bottom that we're going to hit. And we're going to do a motorcycle. Yep. Profile name. I'm going to put mine. This is versus. I can take a picture if I so choose. I don't really want to. Vehicle pressure. I'm not even sure what system this is in. For front tire, I don't even know because I don't know what this isn't This isn't PSI, that's for sure. So I'm going to see if I can change this somewhere. And I'm pretty sure if you just save, hit the little save, so the little, it looks like the old floppy disk in the corner, you get back here which it says your versus and your settings. So yeah, so in settings here you can actually see your pressure unit. So I'm putting mine to PSI into Celsius. And you can go through gauge pressure. You know, you can turn that on if you want. Alert at 0 pressure, sure. Keep screen on. This could be important if you're doing this while you're riding because it shows that your phone doesn't just dim and go to sleep. Auto night mode, I'm going to turn that on. And group ride, why not? Do it all on. You also see device management, feedback, terms and conditions, user manual guide, and all kinds of other good stuff. We're going to go back here. We got that all set. Excellent. I'm going to go back to my bike list. On the bike, when you're here under your home, you see a little, it's like a little tire kind of right here beside the picture of your bike. And if you tap on that, this is where you're going to actually install your sensors. Alright, so it says install sensor on the rear tire, which is good because that's where I am. Alright, let's grab one of these. Install a sensor on the rear tire. Touch sensor with mobile, press proceed. Undetectable sensor. Alright, let's try that again. Install the sensor. Yeah, see, I missed a step. Install the sensors. Okay, sensor is getting installed. But I'm going to do it. Hold on a sec. I'm going to do it with the locking nuts. So I'm going to move the camera closer and we can see this. Alright, hold on. Alright, there she goes. We're going to screw that all on. This has to be nice and finger tight. We're going to put our sensor on. Again, just kind of finger tight. Good. And then basically what we're going to do is take this little wrench and basically it's just going to go on here like this. And we're just going to snug it up against it so it tightens up against it. Not too tight, just enough. There we go. So that's not going to go anywhere. Excellent. Good. Alright, so let's retry this again, shall we? Retry. Holding it up, installing sensor scanner. Right, hopefully you guys can see that. Rear. Okay, so we got the first one on. Oh, it's freezing out here. And just so you guys can see, it did come up 42.3 and it wants me to proceed. So a few things to be aware of when you're doing this. Number one, where's my valve? Well, this one down here. Number one is you want to do it in the right order. So if you install the actual sensor on before you go in where it asks you to proceed here, there's a proceed on the screen. If you have this already on the valve, it won't work. So you have to hit the proceed and then kind of do it. Also make sure that you have a good internet connection because it has to talk to the actual server to register the valve sensor. So right, I'm gonna put these on. Okay, that's on good. We'll tighten that later. Okay. We're gonna hit the proceed here. Okay, installing sensor. Front tire. Fingers crossed. Scanning. Connecting to cloud. Save to cloud. Installation complete. Sensor installation has completed. Yay. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is, because we're here, I just realized it's cold, so my tire pressure isn't great, but 35, 42. Usually if I go into either one of these, I think if you click on it, you actually see you can upgrade firmware, which is excellent. Let's just see if there's a firmware available. Oh, there is. Alright, so there's a few little things that you have to do when you're doing your firmware upgrade on them. Just make sure you have to pull them back off again, put them back on. Again, make sure you've got a good connection to the internet. We have the actual sensor here. My front tire is pulling in 35, my rear 42. So rear's a little high, front's a little low. But it's stored for the winter, so it's not a big deal. If you and I click on the settings in the top, we can go back in and manipulate those if you want. This is also where we can share these sensors to somebody else if we so choose. And again, there's that share button or save button at the top. And if we click on any of the tires, for instance here, long hold, You can disable it, so if you don't want to get warnings, let's say it's beeping at you all the time, you're like, just shut it down, I know my tire pressure is low. Okay, if you want to replace it with a different sensor, if you want to rotate them, again, so you want to rotate the sensors and release the sensor. Release the sensor is probably a huge one, because you release the sensor if you want to, let's say you're going to sell these or give them to somebody else or whatever, they need to be removed from your account. So that's that release, so that they're no longer on your account and they can be used with somebody else. Really cool to have this. And I actually tested and I put my front tire pressure down really low, and it actually came up and started beeping at me to tell you that you need to put more air in it, or you had too much air in it. One of the two, I can't remember. Anyways, I'm gonna go inside because it's freezing. These are really cool, and it is one of those things that I do think each of us has on our bike, or we should put. Being able to make sure that our tire pressure is on point, or at least within a couple, is really important. Cool little purchase. I'll put a link down below if you guys are interested in getting one of these, compatible with iOS and Android. And do it when it's warmer, not like me. It's November. I'm freezing. Alright guys, I'm out. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.